Right, welcome everyone. Today I'm going to make some ramen soup. I think it's called ramen soup. It's a kind of noodly soup, Chinese style. So I've just about got all the ingredients. So I'll just run through the ingredients, what you need. Okay, you need some stock, vegetable stock, because I'm doing a fish noodle soup. So this one is quite good because it's low in salt. Some of them are a bit salty, aren't they? So yeah, we've got vegetable stock. We've got some tamarind paste. This one is from an Indian grocery shop. Sometimes it looks like this as well. And you can also get it in like a block as well of actual, it's a type of bean, isn't it, tamarind? So you can get like a block of it. Which you kind of have to soak and mess about, but this is just a paste. Then we've got some black pepper sauce from the Chinese shop. That one, if you can't get hold of that, there is another one that you can get, which is the good old oyster sauce. So if you can't get hold of this black pepper sauce, then you could use oyster sauce. We've got some sugar. We've got this fish sauce. This is to be used with care because it's quite pungent and it can make it a bit full on and bitter. So, but it does add a kind of depth to it as well. Chinese seasoning or like 5 spice. I've got some smoked bassa fillets, kind of poor man's bass. From a German grocery shop. This like ready to eat or ready to stir fry, ready to cook. There you are. That's just like chopped vegetables, Chinese style. Then like a straight to wok, ready to wok. Some noodles. I've got some baby corn, which is in season at the moment, and some spring onions. Okay, so that's all the things, and then you want some kind of wok or deep frying pan, and a spatula is ideal. And then you also need a regular kind of pan, and that's what we're going to make our stock in. All right. Right, so with the spring onions, I always like to prep the vegetables first, so just kind of peel off any dodgy looking bits. Just like that, and then you just want to chop them up. Right, here, so I'm just chopping up the spring onions here, and then you can put them in a bowl, so it's all nice and ready. Because the trouble is with this Chinese cooking is that it tends to be a bit manic once you start going. So if you've got everything set up ready, it'll be just nice and easy when you can just chuck everything in. Right, so the baby corn. Now, a nice way to cut this up is lengthways like this. Right, so if you just want to do that, and then set that aside. Right, so there we are. There's the corn all done. So I'll set that in there, and that'll be ready for when we start frying things up. Right, so what next? So basically, we've got our fish here, so you want to open this up and just cut him up into chunks. So probably the easiest way of doing that is with a pair of scissors. Right, so I've got my scissors. So so you just want to cut him up into chunks like this. Look, and looks really nice, doesn't it? Now the thing with fish, what I've found is if you add it to the stir-fried vegetables, it gets to be quite tough when it's exposed to that kind of high temperature in the oil. So the better way of doing it, I've found, is to put all this fish into the stock. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So we've got 2 bits here, and this is an optional bit, the fish. You could just leave it out and have it purely vegetarian, or you could fry some chicken. So that if I was using chicken, then I'd fry that first. Okay, but with the fish, I'm going to just cook it very gently and it's going to be all nice and succulent. So we'll cook it all in the stock. So yeah, these are the 3 different ways that I do this with fish. This is probably £2.50 or something like that. You can do it, just leave it out and have it purely vegetarian, or you can have a meat, but obviously you've got to cook that properly in the pan, I would, before adding the vegetables. All right. Right, okay, so the next thing to do, get your vegetables open and all ready. Okay, they look nice, don't they? And then we've got our noodles as well. These like straight to wok or ready to wok noodles. So there's normally 2 in a pack. So I would use, this is for like a family size meal. So there's a little thing there, you can undo it. Okay, and then you just want to kind of tease the bag to kind of break it up. These are already cooked and they're in a kind of, I don't know, a bit of oil or something just to separate them. Okay, so that'll be all ready to go. So that's them. That's the other one. Here we go. Okay, so just get them separated like that. Okay, so that's really all the different bits all chopped and ready. Okay, so then we can move on to the actual cooking of it. Right, there we are. So I've set up my pan. I've just run a bit of water into this pan. I'm going to start that off just on a high heat, and then I'm going to add my stock into the water. Okay, so these are kind of like almost like jellified kind of stock, so you can just plop that in like that. Okay, lovely. Alright, so I'm just going to heat that one up and that will dissolve that stock. Okay, so while that's happening on the other side, then I can think about doing my stir fry. Okay, so I've got some sesame oil. That makes a really nice flavour. Alright, so that's what I'm going to use. So you just put a glug in. You know, don't be too mean with the oil. Right, so I'm going to heat that one up. Okay, so I'll just let that one get up to temperature. Right, so you can see the oil is really quite hot now. So I've got some sesame seeds. I buy these from the Indian shop or the Turkish shop, and I mean you can get them in kind of British supermarkets, but you get a tiny little pot of them. But you want to be nice and generous with the sesame. It's a really nice flavour, and it obviously it kind of beefs up the already sesame type flavour. Okay, so I've just got them sizzling away, you can just see that. Now the thing with stir fry is you've got to keep the temperature quite high and you've got to keep turning it. Alright, so I'm just going to put my spring onion and corn in first. Right, so you can see that I'm just stirring this a little bit. Yeah, you want it nice and hot, and what I'm going to do, because this water's boiling now, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is just swap them over, because you see I've got one ring that's bigger than the other. So I'll put the stir fry on that one. I want the maximum heat on there. This stock is dissolved now, so I'm just going to turn this a little bit. Yeah, so what I was saying, you need to keep the temperature quite high. You want things to kind of be a little bit crisp and done. You don't want to get all the vegetables all kind of soggy. You know, you want a bit of bite with the corn. The onions need a little bit more cooking, and then what you can do is then put the rest of the veg in from the ready prepared Chinese vegetables. Okay, so just give that a stir. Now, thinking about the stock, that's all boiling there now. Okay, we'll just leave that for a second. so with the stock then, if you put a little bit of fish sauce, and I'm talking about a real little bit, so just a few drops like that, okay, and then you want a bit of soy sauce, okay, so a bit of soy sauce goes in there, okay, now you want, now this is what I'm saying, you kind of got to be doing everything at once, okay, so you can just turn that veg over. The tamarind paste. Now I'm trying to, normally I just kind of glug it out. Well, I'm not, can't even get the spoon in there. So we'll do famby. So this is quite pungent stuff. It looks like that. So that's going there into the stock water. So probably, I don't know, two heap teaspoons that's gone in there. Okay, now tamarind gives it a kind of a bit of a sour taste. Okay, I'm just going to knock it off the spoon there. Right, I'll just turn this. Okay, and now what you can do is put your fish in. Alright, so just spoon that fish in there. Okay. Right, now this fish is cooking nicely. So you can add your noodles as well, and that will kind of help to calm things down a little bit in the pan. Okay, and they're a little bit brittle at the moment, but once they get warm, they'll start to, act like cooked noodles. Okay, so let's just get the temperature up with that. Okay, so back to the fish. Yeah, just stir it through. The fish doesn't need a lot of cooking at all. Then the next thing is this black pepper sauce. Okay, so I've got, what does this say? A tablespoon. So let's add, there we go, something like, just check that you can see this all right, yeah. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. This is funny looking stuff. It's kind of gloopy stuff. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of the black pepper sauce, and as I said, if you can't find that, then oyster sauce would be just as good. Right, so there we are. I just want to keep turning this as well while I'm getting all the black pepper sauce off the spoon. You can see the noodles kind of waking up a bit now and they're nice and soft. Okay, you can see this really doesn't take a lot of cooking, and you don't want to overcook it. And you'd be better off if you get to the stage where it's had enough, just turn it off and leave it in the pan, because obviously your heat is going to come from the stock when you pour that on. Right, so we've had the fish sauce, we've had the soy sauce, the seasoning. Yeah, if you just get the 5 spice and just give it a little sprinkle. It's a fairly strong one, so you don't want to go overboard with the 5 spice. It's got that kind of aniseed flavour, which is great in small quantities, but you don't really want to have loads of it in there. Right, so that's just about done there. So we've had the tamarind. Right, so with the tamarind, we need to balance that up with a bit of sugar. Okay, so I'm going to probably put about that spoon and a little bit, okay, into the stock. Yeah, and as I say, that's just to balance it up, because the tamarinds it's all about getting this spectrum of flavour, this kind of depth of flavour. Okay, so let's have a look. Can you see that all right? So the fish is cooking nicely. You can see it's turned a different colour, and we're just giving that a stir. Now I'm gonna just boil some water. I'm gonna kill this heat actually on this, because that's done nicely. Let's see, starting to brown a little bit. So that's perfect. That is. Okay, so if I just set that over there, and I can move this over so you can see there. Okay, so I'm just going to get a bit of hot water. Right, so here you are, some boiling water. I'm just going to kind of top that off. It might want a bit more as well. And And yeah, just keep giving that a stir. Okay, now this is the point where you have to kind of taste it really, because some of these stock cubes, some of them are really salty and others are not. And so I'm just going to give it a little bit of taste and then add a bit of salt as I need to. Yeah, so it does need a little bit, but those kind of jelly stock cubes aren't as salty as some. Right, so just give it a nice stir. Right, there's the hot water ready. Right, so you can see I've just kind of filled up the pan. The fish will be nice and cooked by now. It really, because it's such small little chunks, it's quite thin fish. You can see there. Let's break one open. You can see. See, it's flaking open. So as soon as it starts flaking like that, then you can see that that's done. I mean, yeah, that kind of fish, as long as it's fresh, it's not. You know, it really doesn't need a lot of cooking. Okay, so we'll just give it a little bit longer, and yeah, I'm just going to cool everyone down because it's nearly done. Right, so there you are. That's done now. I can turn that. I'll turn them off now. Okay, so the final thing to do: get some black pepper. You always need black pepper and salt when cooking. Okay, so just turn that over there, and then with the stock, you're just going to pour that directly into your noodles. Okay, so there you are, the fish and the stock and everything. Just going to pour that. Okay, and that's it. It's ready to serve. Okay, so there you are. You can see all the noodles. So I'm just going to a light stir, and you could add a bit of coriander to finish. Right, so here we are. We've got a hungry family, and we're going to serve it up.
We want noodles. We want noodles. Noodles. I love the noodles.
Right, okay, here we are, everyone.
Noodles. I love noodles.
Oh, that's yummy, doesn't it?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Just people out. I don't think there's just
Right.
people out in it, Jet.
Okay, let's serve it up.
Out.
Right, say bye to everyone.